So, are you ready to wiggle, man?
Actually, yeah, I'm definitely ready to wiggle. I'm definitely ready to wiggle my body and and basically wiggle anything else you want me to wiggle. Except that, basically, except that I'm not gonna wiggle that though.
Oh, yeah, I get what I immediately got that too. So, hey, folks, welcome to the very first episode of It's a Wiggly Wiggly Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the Wiggles. I'm your host, Bonnie, and as always, I'm here with my co host.
So, according to diesel, everybody, yes, we are ready to wiggle it down.
Pretty much. And so, this podcast was an idea of mine, actually, as usual.
Yes, pretty much at this point, I'm just basically along for the ride, and whatever idea Toy Barney goes along, I'm just like, okay. Basically, he can tell me that like we're gonna start a ride, and I'd just be like, okay.
Okay. So this podcast was an idea of mine, like I mentioned just now. I came up with this idea in December because I wanted to review all of the Wiggles albums. So I thought, why don't we start a podcast where we basically talk about the history of the Wiggles? Since I'm a big Wiggles fan. However, Sequoia did not grow up with the Wiggles. Is that right?
Basically, yeah, yeah. For the most part, you are mostly right. So, just to give a little, brief background about myself and my relation to the Wiggles and everything. So obviously, I did knew about the Wiggles for the longest time, ever since I was a little kid and such. But I did not grow up with them and everything. The only thing I actually did grow up, that was anything like Wiggles related and such, was basically when I had the Barney's house on VHS and everything. And they would basically always show like before Barney came on and such. They would basically always show the song with the captain and everything as well too. And that's the only Wiggle related thing basically I've ever known as a kid and such.
So basically, the only song you were familiar with was "Quack Quack." That song.
Yeah, yes, that song. Yes, that's the only song. That's the only song I'm pretty much familiar with and such.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we're doing this podcast though, because you're gonna learn a lot on this podcast.
I mean, to be fair, like basically what I saw from the script and everything, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to learn a lot from this group and everything. And to be honest, I am definitely really looking forward to it. I am definitely looking forward to see, yet another, another Australian creation and everything that pretty much took the world by storm and everything. So this was like, pretty much in a way, you could say it was almost like a Bluey before Bluey became a thing and everything.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the best way I would describe it, honestly. Yeah. Well, my history with the Wiggles is obviously I have more history with the Wiggles than you do, so I'll just tell it right now.
Go ahead, because I mean, like knowing us and everything. Who knows? Maybe this might turn like to another really useful podcast, and so we're pretty much like we'll have a lot to talk about, and maybe who knows? Maybe each episode might be like an hour long at most.
Pretty much. So my history with the Wiggles begins, I think, in 2005. I had the Wiggle Time DVD. Wiggle Time is basically this little video where the Wiggles performed their songs. I had the remake because the original one was made in '93, and they actually remade it in '98. So I had the
Alrighty.
'98 version. I had it on DVD, and I would watch it over and over again. It was one of my favorite Wiggles videos of all time.
Oh,
And
nice.
and I also grew up. I also grew up watching the Wiggles on Playhouse Disney.
Okay.
and
I
and, and I also I was a big fan of the Wiggles. I own a lot of Wiggles DVDs, and actually I actually owned the Yummy Yummy album as well one time.
Alrighty.
And yeah, I checked out when Greg left in 2006 because at the time I wasn't told that Greg was leaving because we didn't have a computer back then, so I didn't know that Greg had actually left. So when I
Ah,
when,
yeah.
so when I saw that they actually brought Sam in, Sam being his replacement, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Where is Greg? Where is Greg?" And it wasn't until I got older that I found out that Greg had actually left due to health issues. And that's when I realized, oh, okay, so that's why little me checked out completely when Greg left.
Alrighty. I'm pretty sure we're definitely going to be talking about that a lot more once we get to that part of the history.
Yeah, and I'm gonna preface this by saying that anything beyond 2006, I'm going in completely blind.
All right. Yeah. He did tell me about that. So pretty much from here on out, once we get to 2006, we're both going into the Wiggles blind.
Pretty much, because I checked out after Greg left. So just letting you guys know right now. And well, today we're gonna be taking a look at the very first Wiggles album. And in my opinion, uh, an album I would call all killer, no filler. If you guys don't know what that means, it basically means an album that all the tracks are good and there's no bad songs.
Yep.
Well,
Actually, yeah, I would definitely agree with you right there. Because like I said, pretty much coming from someone that never grew up with the Wiggles and everything. And I will be honest, like this was another one where it's like I was a little skeptic at first and everything too, because like I said, I never grew up with the Wiggles myself and everything, and I was worried that when we were going into this and everything, I wasn't gonna have too much to say on it. But pretty much after listening to the first album and everything, I could definitely see why you and a lot of other people back then and everything really grew attached to the Wiggles and everything when they were kids and such. And definitely taking a listen to some of the songs and everything. They definitely do have talent and such. So I definitely did miss out. I definitely did miss out a lot. Basically from the Wiggles and such.
yeah, you definitely missed out on a phenomenon. Now, I didn't discover the debut album until 2013, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah, because at the time, let me go back to my history with the Wiggles. At the time, when in 2012, Greg came back. I think you already know this because I told you about this
Mm-hmm.
before. Greg came back, and Little Me was like, "Oh my goodness, Greg is back!" So basically, I went back into being a Wiggles fan. But then my heart was broken when I heard that Greg, Murray, and Jeff were retiring by the end of the year.
Ah.
So basically, the transition was very poorly made, in my opinion, at least. You guys may have a different opinion, but in my opinion, the transition to the new generation wasn't well made. It wasn't well done, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And when the new generation came in, I basically checked out once again, and I went back and did some research, and then I found out, oh, wait a second, they made albums all the way back in the '90s. So I basically took a listen to them, and I immediately became a fan.
Well, I definitely don't blame you. I definitely don't blame you. For becoming a fan and everything from those pretty much from those first few albums and such. Because like I said, listening to the first album with you and everything. Like I said, I could definitely see basically from that first album alone how they basically blew up in popularity and everything.
Yeah, and there's some stories I read in Greg's book, Greg's autobiography now and then
Mm-hmm.
that kids basically came to the ABC for Kids shows just to see them actually.
Oh, nice.
And that's when they took a look at each other and they went, I think we should start doing shows on our own. And well, the rest is history. But unlike our previous podcast, we're gonna have a little segment called I'm thinking of a name right now. We're gonna
Basically, we're gonna have a little segment just called "Little Segment."
no. We're gonna have a history segment, but this one is gonna be
Yeah.
pre-recorded every single time. So I'm gonna let my pre-recorded self tell us what was going on in 1991 when this album was being recorded. So pre-recorded self, take it away. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that the Wiggles are quite possibly the most successful children's act of all time. But in order to understand how and why they became so popular, we must start at the very beginning. The Wiggles are the brainchild of Anthony Field, who was originally a member of an Australian pop rock band called the Cockroaches, alongside his older brothers John and Paul Field, who provided rhythm guitar and lead vocals respectively, keyboardist Jeff Fatt, bass player Phil Robinson, and drummer Tony Henry. In 1987, the group released their first album simply titled The Cockroaches, which contained the hit single She's the One. The song became their highest charting single, reaching number 7 on the Australian Kent Music Reports chart. All seemed to be going well for the band, but unfortunately, tragedy struck shortly thereafter. While the band was on the road promoting their second album, Fingertips, in September 1988, Paul Field's infant daughter Bernadette suddenly passed away due to SIDS. Bernadette's death crushed Paul and the rest of the band, who ultimately decided to carry on despite the devastating loss. Sadly, however, things were not the same for the band following Bernadette's death, and Anthony decided to quit the group in 1988 so he could focus on pursuing a degree at the Institute of Early Childhood, which at the time was part of Sydney's College of Advanced Education. At university, Anthony decided to take the Early Childhood Education course so he could become a preschool teacher. During his time at the campus, he learned all about child psychology, child development, children's way of thinking, and the importance of play in children's lives. The course proved to be an enjoyable one for Field, who also enjoyed his time at the campus. Field recalled that at the university there were only 4 or 5 guys and over 400 women taking the course. Out of those 4 or 5 guys, 2 of them were musicians themselves. One was named Maury Cook,
who played bass for a band called Finger Guns, and the other one was named Greg Page, who had not only been the lead singer of the band Dead Giveaway, but he had also served as a roadie for the Cockroaches.
The three guys got along extremely well and jammed together during lunchtime at the university. Because the guys enjoyed the early childhood course so much, their rock and roll jam sessions would usually result in them playing classic children's songs like Polly Put the Kettle On, amongst many others. By 1990, Anthony was nearing the end of his university studies and would soon begin looking for a job. He thought that if he could record an album of children's music, then he could increase his chances of getting a job as a preschool teacher. But before he could do that, he needed to assemble a group, and the first person he approached was a composer/pianist he had met at the campus named Philip Wiltshire. Wiltshire was a composer who came from a classical music background. He began playing the piano at the age of 8, and at just 14 years old, he not only became the youngest composer in all of Australia, but he also composed his very first piano composition called Daybreak. Wiltshire had worked on a variety of jobs over the years, and in 1988, he got a part-time job working as a teacher assistant at the Institute of Early Childhood, where Anthony, Mari, and Greg were studying at the time. By November 1990, Wiltshire's contract with the Institute of Early Childhood was coming to an end, and it was around that same time that Anthony approached him with the idea to record a children's album, using the lessons that he had been taught in the early childhood course as reference. Wiltshire agreed to take part in the recording of the album, and thus became the first person to join Anthony's new group. After receiving a phone call from Anthony in December 1990, Greg became the second person to join the group, followed by Mari, who eventually completed the lineup. With the new group now finally assembled, it was finally time for the guys to get to work on recording the album. They convened at Philip's house in early 1991 to begin work on the album, but due to some technical issues, the recording sessions were eventually postponed. They tried again a few days later at the auditorium of the Institute of Early Childhood, but the sessions were once again postponed due to, you've guessed it, more technical issues. After 2 unsuccessful attempts, the group eventually decided to enter Tracking Station Studios and finally began recording the album without issues on January 16, 1991, which coincidentally was Greg's 19th birthday. 24 tracks were recorded for the album, and the inclusion of some of them in the album came from the influence of Rosemary Harrell, a teacher who had taught Mari, Anthony, and Greg about the importance of nursery rhymes and lullabies in children's lives. Nearing the end of the recording sessions, it was clear that the group needed someone to sequence the recordings that they made on a digital keyboard, and so Anthony decided to bring in his old Cockroaches bandmate, Jeff, who was busy renovating his house at the time, to help sequence and arrange the tracks they had already recorded. Eventually, after a month and a half of recording, at a cost of approximately 4,000 Australian dollars, recording for the album finally wrapped up in February of 1991. With the album now finally finished, all they needed now was a name for the group, and the choice was a no-brainer. The group had recorded a song called Get Ready to Wiggle, and they thought that the word wiggle seemed like a good description for the way young children dance to the beat of the music, and thus they settled on the name The Wiggles. So now that the group had a name and a completed album on their hands, the aim for them now was to find someone who was willing to release the album and for Anthony to get a teaching job.
Fortunately for Anthony, he managed to get a job as a preschool teacher at a school called Temple Emmanuel in Sydney, and the group, with the help of Cockroaches manager Jeremy Fabini, would soon approach Australia's national broadcaster, the ABC, with the hope that they will release the completed album. As fate would have it, the music division of the ABC, ABC Music, had just gotten a new president by the name of Meryl Gross. Gross already knew Anthony and Jeff because she used to work for Festival Records, the label that the Cockroaches were signed to, and was also well aware of the success that the Cockroaches had brought to the label. According to Gross, when she first met the group at a meeting, she was very impressed by what the guys were trying to do, and in her mind, she felt like the group would appeal to parents as much as they would appeal to their target audience of children. And so, in her first week of heading ABC Music, Meryl officially signed the Wiggles to the label. Now, it's important to mention that before the Wiggles came about, children's entertainers were basically solo acts performing for children, and they were very successful. However, when it came to selling children's albums and videos, things were not so great. The biggest numbers most retailers saw as successful were in the 3,000 to 4,000 units.
Despite that skepticism, however, the Wiggles had finally gotten a recording contract, and on July 31st, 1991, the group received the first 5 copies of their debut album, which the ABC finally released the following month. And well,
The album was an unexpected success, taking the ABC and the Wiggles completely by surprise, as it sold over 10,000 copies in 1991 alone, exceeding all expectations. The album cover features the then 5-piece group wearing brightly colored shirts with different shape designs. The background color for the cover was originally intended to be a yellow color, but due to an error with the pressing plants, it came out as orange. As for the group's clothing style, needless to say, this style didn't last very long, as the group later decided to change their look to something a little more basic. But more on that in the next episode. To promote the album, the Wiggles filmed 2 music videos for the songs Get Ready to Wiggle and Dorothy the Dinosaur, which were both released as part of the ABC for Kids video hits series in 1991 and 1992 respectively. Interestingly enough, there were plans to turn the song Mischief the Monkey into a music video, but those plans however were soon scrapped. The album was eventually certified gold by the Australian Recording Industry Association in April of 1994 and was later certified platinum in October of 1995.
And that's what was going on back in 1991 when this album was being recorded. And I should also mention that this is the first album to not only introduce the Wiggles, obviously, but this is also the first album to introduce us to Dorothy the Dinosaur, who will become the Wiggles' most popular character ever.
Pretty much, yes, it is pretty right. Yes, that does sound right. And pretty much, like I said, even though I never grew up with the Wiggles, I definitely knew about the dinosaur. I knew about the dinosaur and the dog as well.
What about the octopus?
The octopus, I think I did also knew about the octopus a little bit as well too.
All right, but we don't talk about him because he doesn't come in until the next album. So,
All right.
So, Sakawa, when you went into listening to this album, what were your expectations? Were they very low?
So my expectations, like, I wouldn't say they were like too low per se and everything. I just knew that going in, I like pretty much, we're gonna be listening to, about, a couple of like, children's songs, children's albums, and everything too. So I wasn't gonna go. So I wasn't. Honestly, I wasn't really gonna go in too low and everything because pretty much like pretty much let me collect my train of thoughts. So pretty much I did had an idea that that pretty much there probably was some way, or at least somehow like how the Wiggles got popular to begin with. Either way and such, because like I said. Like they're still going on to this day, like, with the new generation and everything, with the album and such. And pretty much by the time we're doing this, I think they're also doing like a documentary movie as well too. Like,
that came out last year. Actually, I actually came home from college and decided to watch that documentary, and I actually enjoyed it. Actually,
nice. So yeah. Like I said, I didn't go into like too low of an expectation, but I also didn't want to go in and like too high as well too, because like I said, like I did not know how I was going to react to like to the albums and everything, and even to some of the songs and such. But pretty much after we left listening to the first album, and everything, I was like, okay, yeah, I could definitely see like how this group became very popular, like right off the bat and everything as well too. Like each one of them definitely has like their talents and such. I could definitely see how they were a very huge hit with the kids and such, and even some and pretty much I'm sure they were even like a big hit to some of the grown-ups as well too, and even some of the teachers as well. So like I said, pretty much after this, I am definitely looking forward to see where else the Wiggles went on from there, from here on out with their albums and such.
oh yeah, definitely. I'm very excited to re-listen to some of the earlier albums, and I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun listening to the very first album, because I've overplayed this album probably to death by this time.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I definitely don't blame you for like overplaying the album and everything as well too. Because like I said, there's a lot of great stuff there's a lot of great stuff and a lot of great songs in this album as well that I'm definitely looking forward to talking about with you and everything.
Oh yeah, same here. Well, shall we get into the album itself, because we got 24 tracks to review.
Pretty much, yeah. We got 24 tracks as well as like well, actually, technically 26, but the two ones are just basically a reprise and everything. So yeah, we got 24 tracks in total and such, and pretty much the way this podcast is going to be handled is going to be a little different than our really useful podcast.
I'll explain if you want. I'll explain.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right. unlike in the really useful podcast where we just read the stories and we talked about them for like 20 minutes or something like that. This one is gonna be just this one's gonna be the songs, and we're basically gonna give a rating from 1 to 10, just like we did with the stories. And
Alrighty.
at the end of the reviews, we're gonna list our top 10 songs, and then we're gonna give the grade as we usually do.
Alrighty.
And at the very end of the early era is going to be from 91 till 96. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
96. At the end of the early era, once again, we're going to go into a tier list, if I can find one. And we'll basically rank the early albums from an S tier to F tier, if there's any, basically.
Alrighty. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to getting to those 6 albums then.
And just a little disclaimer, this is all going to be just for fun. If you happen to disagree with our opinions, that's completely fine. Feel free to disagree in the comments below. And well, just have fun, because this podcast is all about having fun.
Pretty much. It's all about having fun and forming the right opinions. I'm just kidding.
You're wrong. Nah, just kidding, man.
You're wrong. Shut up.
Just kidding. So are we ready to go, Thek?
I'm definitely ready to go whenever you are, so go right ahead.
All right, so the first track is Get Ready to Wiggle, aka the very first Wiggle song, and my all-time favorite Wiggle song.
So I mean, I definitely don't blame you and such. Definitely, like, for the very first song and such, it really, honestly, for like the very first song, it really does set the mood to this album and everything, and what this album is going to be about. Like, it's definitely a nice, little introduction to like who the Wiggles are and everything. Definitely a very upbeat song as well. Music and instrument wise and everything, they've done a really good job to basically, have the children, come and wiggle with the Wiggles and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much. I don't have too much to say on it overall and everything, but definitely for like the very first Wiggles song and everything. Honestly, they really went off with a bang on this one.
Oh, I agree with you. There, especially the music video, which I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion. That music video is one of my favorite things the Wiggles have ever done. I know it's low budget, but that kind of adds to the charm of it.
It does. It does. It definitely does add to the charm and such. And I mean, pretty much, like I said, you could definitely tell that, like, the Wiggles definitely had a lot of fun, dancing around and everything, and pretty much giving off the energy to, get the kids to basically come on and dance with them, just like I just said.
And this is the song in this album. This is the song I overplayed the most. And you can and take Sakoa's word for it, because I told him I played this song to pieces.
I mean, he has. And like I said, I don't blame him and everything too. It's a very catchy song that pretty much you could just put on and everything when you just want to dance around, or at least you definitely want an upbeat song and such.
Pretty much. So this song was originally called "Here Comes Mr. Wiggle." It was basically a song written for the Cockroaches. The Cockroaches being the group that Anthony belonged to before he left and formed the Wiggles.
Can you imagine can you imagine if you call a cockroach exterminator and everything, and the only way to get rid of cockroaches is just literally playing "Get Ready to Wiggle," and that's not how they all come out of the house. I can pretty much see the the owners of the house being like, "That was it." That was simple.
Oh man. But John. The song was written by John Field, who was Anthony's brother. It was originally a song called "Here Comes Mr. Wiggle," and the lyrics weren't very appropriate for kids. So they basically rewrote the song to "Get Ready to Wiggle." And well, the rest is.
But actually, now that you said that, I'm kind of curious to see what kind of lyrics they put in here and everything. That was not appropriate.
Honestly,
to be fair, when it sounded like "Here Comes Mr. Wiggle," I could kind of maybe have a good idea, like what the original lyrics were about.
I will be curious to listen to it, but at the same time, no, because it'll damage my perspective of the of "Get Ready to Wiggle." So no, thank you.
Well, hello there, Mr. Wiggle. What are you doing? Wiggle your finger in my ear.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather stick with "Get Ready to Wiggle." I'd rather stick with that.
Get ready to wiggle with Mr. Wiggles.
With the Wiggles.
With the Wiggles. We don't have a Mr. Wiggles here anymore. He's dead.
Yeah, like I said, Get Ready to Wiggle is a great song to start off the album, and do I even need to say what rating the song gets? It's a 10, and a definite 10. What about you, man?
For me, like I said, this is a very popular song. I could definitely see I could definitely see why it's so popular to this day and everything. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty much a staple of the Wiggles and everything. And for the very first song to get introduced to the Wiggles, not only just the Wiggles, but again to this album itself, it does a very good job. That honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9 and such. I wouldn't say it's my most favorite, but like I said, it gets the job done very well. That I really can't think of anything negative to say about the song.
All right, and Anthony, if you're listening, please play this song live. Please play this song live because this song definitely deserves to be played live.
Yes, Anthony. If you're listening to two losers talking about your albums, please play the song live.
Oh man,
We'll do anything.
But yeah, please play this song live. I love this song to death. And actually, a little story. Whenever this song would come on, and when I was watching the Wiggles on Playhouse Disney, I would immediately get out of the bed and start dancing.
Like I said, I definitely don't blame you because, this is definitely the song to. Basically, I can see a lot of kids definitely, like I said, wiggling to the song. This is definitely a song to dance to.
Definitely. All right, so we move on from Get Ready to Wiggle to the second song, Rocket by Your Bear, which is possibly the most famous Wiggles song ever written, besides Hot Potato. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, do you want to take it away, or?
Sure. All right. Well, again, just like with the very first song and everything, pretty much I could definitely see why the song is also very popular as well too. Again, very simple and such. The main highlight for me in this song is just basically once again the instruments and such, and not just the instruments as well too. But some of the lyrics as well too, and the way they sung, pretty much the song it's a very good, not just a sort of lullaby in a sort of sense. But it also makes for a really good swing song that I can see definitely people playing and one of those barn dances and such as well too. Like I said, the instruments is very good. I can see people dancing along and following along with the steps that pretty much it's Greg that's singing this song.
Yeah, Greg is the one that sings
Okay.
this song.
Yeah. I can see people following, Greg's instructions and dancing along and everything, bowing to the partner and such as well. So, it's definitely a fun song. I will definitely give it that much credit and such.
Yeah, and actually, Greg was also the one that wrote the song with Anthony.
Nice.
And here's what he had to say about the song. This is from his book, Now and Then. I don't know if I should admit this or not, but the classic song Rocket by Your Bear was written in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom at home and thought, I'm sure I can write something quickly. So I did. Everybody clap, everybody sing. Bow to your partner, then you turn around. That's all I came up with. And when we met in the lecture hall later that day, the lecture hall being in the university, by the way, where he studied, Anthony asked if I had written anything. I sang the words and the melody I had come up with that morning. He completed the song with Hands in the Air, Rocket by Your Bear, Bears Now Asleep. And so was born one of the classic children's songs of modern times, even if I do say so myself.
Well, I mean, like I said, I definitely don't blame him for saying that. I mean, considering, as Bonnie just stated, this is one of their most overplayed songs, and like I said, I could definitely see why. I could definitely see why they played the song a lot.
They play it live, as far as I'm aware, they've played this song in every single concert they've done because it's a crowd favorite.
I mean, like I said, I don't blame them. I don't blame them in the slightest. So, I want to say it's my most favorite song and everything. But like I said, for what it does, and everything, it does get the job done real well. And it's still fine. It's passable.
Yeah, for me, I love the song, but I will admit it is overplayed a lot to the point where I'm a little bit sick of hearing it. But I will admit, seeing them perform it live and then the kids doing the gestures is quite cute. I will admit, and I can understand why it's a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna give Rocket by Your Bear a 7 out of 10. Like I said,
well, what do you know? Because I'm also giving it a 7 out of 10.
Like I said, it's overplayed, but there's a reason why that song is a crowd favorite. It's very simple, and it's got great instrumentation as well.
It does. It really does. And speaking of great instrumentation, guess what we're coming up to next?
Yep.
Dorothy the Dinosaur.
Dorothy the Dinosaur. So this is the second and final song they did a music video for. Now this one was filmed in '92. The music video for Dorothy the Dinosaur. That one
Yeah.
was the music video was for Dorothy the Dinosaur was filmed in March 1992 at Darling Harbor. The song is amazing, really good.
Yeah, I don't blame with you right there. This is, honestly, like, this is definitely one of their best works. And again, like, and again, it definitely really showcased, like, the new character that's basically been a staple of the Wiggles ever since.
Pretty much, pretty much. And actually, the music for the song came from a Cockroaches song, believe it or not.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the song was called "On a Saturday Night." It's
hmm,
another Saturday night. My bad. It's another Saturday night.
okay. It's another Saturday night drinking with Dorothy the
Oh
dinosaur.
God, no, no. But yeah, the music came from that Cockroaches song, and Murray took the music and wrote new lyrics to it, and basically it still works as a kid's song, believe it or not.
It does. Like, again, I'll probably have to take a listen to the original song then when I get a chance and such. But
I've heard the original song, and it's still really good. Like with the original lyrics, I like it, but it still works great as a kid's song with new lyrics.
what's the name of the original song again?
It's another Saturday night.
It's another Saturday night. All right, I'll make sure to take a listen to it then when I get the chance and such. But yeah, like I said, I definitely do wholeheartedly agree with you. Like, not only is the song very catchy and everything, but like I said, it does a very good job on introducing to everyone like who Dorothy the dinosaur is and such, and pretty much like how she came about as well too. Like, this is definitely one. Honestly, like, it's not just like the instruments and everything, but pretty much you could tell that, like, almost every single member of the Wiggles have a talent of, like, pretty much telling a story too, like with these short songs, and given the length and everything that they probably had to work with and everything. They definitely did a very good job on basically squeezing in, just giving you just enough information about who Dorothy is and everything without skipping too much.
Pretty much, and it's short and straight to the point, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit, like the instrumentation is like really good, and it was made just with a keyboard, a bass, and guitars, basically, and it was really well done in my opinion.
It was. It was definitely very well done. Like, no, like I said, no arguments right here as well too, and pretty much there's a couple of really like good jokes as well in here too that honestly I can see a lot of people laughing, especially like the one with the dog catcher bit and everything, and let's see, basically Dorothy just won't stop eating the damn flowers.
Oh, and and actually the voice is done by Murray, believe it or not. Murray was the one that created Dorothy.
Yes, yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. Mari created Dorothy and was the original voice for Dorothy for a while, and then I believe you said in what 95 or something
Yeah,
that
in 95, that's when they got a female voice actor to replace him.
yeah.
And basically, Dorothy came about because Murray was teaching it at preschool, and he saw how the kids love dinosaurs. So he basically thought, oh, so
Well, you know what? Jurassic Park wasn't a thing yet, so you know what? Let's make our own dinosaur.
yeah, pretty much. And the very first Dorothy costume, which you can see in the music video for it, was made by his wife, Meg.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that costume didn't last very long because
I can definitely tell, especially in the music video and everything, they really had to lift up that tail a lot.
pretty much. So basically, by I think in mid '92, that's when they redesigned it a little bit to look more like a dinosaur instead of a human.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna give them criticism for that because they were starting out and they didn't have much of a budget. So
Like, to be fair, like, even the budget they did have and everything, like I said, it's still passable enough. Like, it still looks, it still looks decent given the money they did had at the time.
pretty much. But yeah, it's the song is pretty funny, I will admit, and also really good. So for me, I'm just gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's a great song.
Same here. Like, again, 8 out of 10, and again, like, not just the instruments as well too, but just the writing of the song overall. But basically, what makes the song what it is to this day and such. And like I said, it's easy to see why this character Dorothy became a staple in the Wiggles ever since.
I'm hungry. Do you think I could try something in the backyard now? That's basically how the voice sounded. In case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so next is a song written by Philip, and I believe I'm not sure about this. This was one of the last songs that was written for the album. Mischief the Monkey.
Well, okay. Actually, it's just more of a song, or more. Well, actually, I guess technically we could kind of say it's like both a song and a poem at the same time, if you want to go that route.
Yeah, it's pretty much a poem, I would say. Yeah, because it's spoken. It's mostly spoken word, basically.
Pretty much. And actually, go ahead. You go first, because pretty much I've been stealing the spotlight for a little bit. So go
No,
ahead. You
it's
go
okay.
first.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm actually glad you've been talking more because I wasn't. I thought I was gonna be the one speaking the most, but wow, I was impressed at how much you spoke. So Mischief the Monkey, this song was written by Philip. It was basically I heard Philip talk about on a podcast that Mischief is like his son. and, and in his opinion, Mischief has a huge ego. If he would have a television series of if he would have his own television series, Mischief would be such a big egotistical star, according to Philip.
I can just imagine Philip looking at his son and just being like, I can know how. I think I know what I could do with him now.
And actually, Mischief was the very first mascot they had in live concerts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, basically what they did was Jeff would put on a monkey mask, and there's Mischief
Ah.
right there. Yeah, yeah. Basically, this was in the very early concert, basically in '91 to like very early '92. So Jeff would put on a monkey mask, and there's Mischief right there.
Ah.
And
All right.
and well, the song itself, the poem itself, I should say, the poem itself is okay at the very least.
Yeah.
I
I mean to give to give it credit, like much like Dorothy and everything, like pretty much this poem again does a good job on pretty much giving the listeners and everything an idea like who Mischief is, especially in that again short amount of time and everything, and pretty much he lives up to his title. Pretty much he's a Mischief monkey. That's all there is to it.
pretty much, and he loves bananas as well.
Yeah.
I love the voice Jeff does for Mischief, like.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Like I always go back to the song and just play the part where Jeff does it, where it's like, and I just loop it over and over again. It's so good. Like the voice Jeff does is really good. I will admit.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with you right there.
Yeah. So basically, Mischief the Monkey, the song overall, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's short, but it's not one of my favorite songs of the album. What about you?
I mean, same here too. Yeah, same here too. Yeah, yeah, I definitely give it a 7 as well too. So again, it's short and it does the job done. It gets the job done very well and such.
Oh man, look what we got next.
Lavender Blues, wasn't it?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, go right ahead, because I know this is definitely one of your most favorite lullabies and such. Pretty much in this album at the very least.
In
So
this album.
go right ahead.
I'm just gonna say right now, this song is a 10. Greg, that's all I'm gonna say. Greg,
Greg.
that voice is so good. The way he sings it, like you can feel the emotion in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still. I don't know how to.
I mean, I definitely don't blame you if you're like gushing the way it does. Like,
gushing. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
I'm still gushing at how good he sang the song. And
I mean, I don't definitely blame you. Like I said, definitely, it's not just like the song itself, but just the instruments as well too. It's just like, honestly, it's not. Honestly, like, it's not just like a good lullaby as well too. It's just a very good song. Like overall, a very good children's song as well too. Like, pretty much just to listen to. Like, it's definitely very soothing and such. The instruments does a real good job, and I mean, I can't think of anything else to complain about this lullaby as well too. It's just it's just really damn good, like you said.
Yeah, like just Greg's voice alone makes it a 10.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like, pretty much, I'm also giving it a 10 as well.
Hey, I thought you were gonna give it a 9, actually.
Honestly, like, honestly, more for the more I listen to it and everything, and the more like I hear the instruments and like you said, Greg's voice as well too. Like, pretty much he really does sell the lullaby very well.
I agree with you there. All right, so up next we got our very first poem. Second poem actually. Glub Glub Train. You want to say you want to take this one away?
Sure thing. Glub Glub Train is cute and such. Definitely very creative. It's definitely one of the creative poems I will definitely say out there and such. Definitely my favorite part is just basically the song. Not song. The sound basically the train has made since the sister has left the train in the rain and everything. And yeah, pretty much that's all I really got to say about it. Like, just a very cute poem and such. Just a very good poem that I'm basically going to give it a 6 and such.
Yeah, same here. I agree with you there on the rating. It's short and straight to the point, and my favorite part is like the train whistling with
Mm-hmm.
bubbles. Yeah, so I don't have much to say on the poem. You basically said everything I was gonna say. All right, so up next we got Archie's theme. Now this one is very interesting. Let me talk about this track.
All right, go right ahead.
So Archie's theme is basically a piano composition that Philip wrote when he was 14 years old, called "Summer Dance."
Hmm.
And basically,
Okay.
he recorded it for this album as a short instrumental called Archie's Theme. Now, the nickname Archie, the Wiggles actually nicknamed him Archie because he was a fan of an American pianist called
Uh.
Liberace.
Okay. That was a little unexpected. A pianist.
Yeah, because he was a big fan of Liberace. I think that was his name, Liberace.
Oh, okay. For a second there, I thought you were gonna say that like I thought you were gonna say that like basically Anthony was a fan of like the Archie comics or something.
Oh no. He was a massive fan of Liberace, and he actually joined the fan club when he was, I think he was 14 when he joined the fan club.
Okay.
And he saw Liberace live when he was 13 years old in Australia.
All right.
So basically, he's a big fan of Liberace. I think that was it. I think that's his name. I keep mispronouncing his name. I don't know how to pronounce it actually.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. To be honest, I think we all definitely get the idea of what pretty much what you mean and everything.
Yeah, basically. So basically, Archie's theme is basically a piano composition Philip wrote when he was 14 called "Summer Dance." And to be honest, I love this. I love this track.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair, I definitely also love it as well too. Pretty much, it's not really too much to say. Again, like it's just, pretty much all this is just basically Anthony, playing along on the piano and everything, and pretty much the piece that we do get with him playing on the piano and such, like, pretty much is very good.
Actually, Philip is the one that's playing piano on the
Oh,
track.
it's Philip. All right.
Yeah, Philip is the one that plays piano on the track.
We're pretty much like Philip did like a really good job on playing the piece on like the piano and such as well, and pretty much like so good that pretty much is on the album again.
Yeah, pretty much. Philip is playing in the podcast. I don't remember. I don't remember which one it was that basically was supposed to be like a piano piece, a children's march, and then the piano piece again to end it all.
Okay.
Yeah. If we could interview him, I will definitely ask him about that.
Well, I mean, like, there's a hope, maybe it'll happen. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Pretty much.
For me, yeah, I really don't have too much to say on it. Like, pretty much, it's a simple and fine piece that pretty much I'm comfortable with giving it an 8.
Yeah, same here. I'm definitely giving it an 8 as well. It's a really good piano piece. All right, so up next we got Montezuma, and this one I will admit the thin whistle can get annoying for the ones that don't like instruments you blow into.
I mean, I think you might want to reword. Well, actually, to be fair, I think we all know what you mean by that.
Yeah, air instruments. In other words, air instruments.
Yeah. Pretty much air instruments and such.
Actually, let me rephrase that.
I mean, to be fair, we can keep it there. I think we all know what you mean by it and such. It's just there's some people out there like me that just has like a very poor mind. That's all.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah. The thin whistle can get annoying for people that don't like air instruments. But I'll be honest, it's very short and it's pretty good. I'll admit it's pretty good.
Like pretty much like I said, it's pretty much a short, simple piece and everything. And honestly, I don't find the whistles all too annoying and such. At least to me and everything. The whistling itself, I think, was done just the right amount and everything. That didn't overstay its welcome and such.
Pretty much, and it's very short. Like it doesn't. The instrumental's only like the instrumental's only I think like 30 seconds, and it ends pretty quickly. So it doesn't annoy me either. So
yeah, pretty much.
But at the same time, Montezuma's not one of my favorite songs from the album as well. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's not like my most favorite and everything, but like I said, it's another one that's passable and such. Like it's definitely one of those where I wouldn't mind listening to it maybe once in a while and such.
Yeah, same here. So Montezuma for me gets a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Alrighty. For me, I'm also gonna give it a 7 as well.
Okay. All right. So up next we got up next will come Archie's theme again, but that's a reprise, so we're not gonna count it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like it's just pretty much the same thing and such. So same thing, same rating, 8.
Yeah, same rating. All right. Anyways, next up we got Ducky Ducky. So I think the one that speaks this poem is Jeff. I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's a very funny poem. I will admit, it's a really funny poem.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny poem, and honestly, the way the reason I'm giving this the rating that it is just pretty much like the ending, where it's just where it goes like.
And that was done on a keyboard, so.
Oh, okay, okay then, yeah, like that definitely takes talent right there. So actually, you know what? Yeah, then yeah, this poem definitely deserves an 8 for a reason. Then.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I would say 75% of the album was done on a keyboard.
I mean, like hey, like they definitely had a talent for it as well. So, I mean, to be honest, if you did not tell me that like it was played on a keyboard and everything, I definitely would have thought that like they played on they played the quacking noise on a kazoo or something.
No, it was all done on a keyboard, on a single keyboard. Believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me as well. Anyway, oh man, look what we got next. I'm gonna let you take away this one. A frog he would a wooing go.
Yeah, alrighty. So the Froggy one, honestly, I think this is one of their best songs. At least in this album and everything. I wouldn't say overall just yet. But definitely in terms of this album, it's definitely one of their favorites and such. And honestly, this is the one that definitely has a story and such. Like it's definitely got a very interesting and funny story as well too, from beginning, middle, and end, and everything. Basically, from what I understand off the top of my head and everything, from remembering it, basically, it's just a frog that goes along to a opera with basically a mouse and his wife and such, and pretty much like just the way that like the song is told and everything. Pretty much, it kind of reminds me like one of those like swing ditty songs and everything. Like the kind you would hear like they were on like a pirate ship as well too, which is very interesting because we're not going to meet because pretty soon we will meet a pirate soon. Later in the series, I do know that.
I wonder what's his name. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But yeah, but pretty much, yeah, the instruments and everything, like it's what really sells this song for me, and definitely again the story as well too. Like the story is definitely well told and everything. And honestly, it really takes a really interesting little twist as well too near the end and such.
Yeah.
But pretty much little spoilers and such. Spoilers for a over 30 years old album and such. But pretty much spoiler and everything. The mouses get pretty much get eaten by the cat, and the frog is just like, "Well, your problem, bye." And then pretty much as karma, he gets eaten as well. So everybody dies. The end. Go home, kids.
By a duck.
By a duck. By Daffy Duck.
My favorite line is a lily white duck came and gobbled him up.
So yeah, pretty much yeah, Froggy's dead, kids.
So basically, nobody wins in the end, and everybody dies.
pretty much, the Wiggles are teaching you a very important life lesson, kids. Nobody wins, all right? Just shut up and take it.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like this song is really good. Like when I first heard it back in 2013, I wasn't very impressed by the song, to be honest.
Alright.
But then as I got older, I started enjoying it more, and now it's honestly one of my. Let me see. Well, it almost made the top 10, but there's much better songs than this. It almost made my top 10. But I will admit, it is a great song, and it definitely, in my opinion, it definitely deserves a 10 out of 10.
I mean, same here. Definitely deserves a 10 out of 10. No question here. Like I said, very great and a very great way to tell a story as well, too. Like, it's definitely, quote unquote, one of the longest songs and everything. But pretty much, like, again, like, it meets at the right time length as well, too, to basically tell the story and not have it overstay its welcome and such.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention about this album is that all the members share vocals, which is amazing, in my opinion.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, that's true, but still very interesting.
Indeed. It makes it look like a team effort.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, 10 out of 10 for Froggy with a Wooing Go. One of the best songs from the album. Almost made my top 10, but there were some other good songs that beat it.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh my God, that's his Maranoa Lullaby. My favorite.
Alrighty. Go ahead and talk about this one if you like. Go ahead and go first.
Maranoa Lullaby is my favorite lullaby from the album. it's so soft, and it's like, and the guitar work is so good, and just Greg's voice alone, again, get used to it because I love Greg a lot.
Yeah.
Greg's voice to me immediately puts the song at a 10 out of 10. I just love the way the instrumentation is, and the way Greg sings it is so lovely. And, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't have much to say on this song. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it was one of the Maronite Lullaby you said.
Marano Lullaby, yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
Marno Lullaby. Honestly, yeah, I don't blame you for giving this a 10 out of 10 because again, yeah, it's a very good lullaby and such. I don't have too much to say on it either. It's not one of my favorites, but it's still very good. Good enough for me to at least give it an 8 at the very least and such. So yeah, I definitely do understand why you like the song and everything from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's my favorite lullaby from the album. Next we got, oh no. Oh no. I
What
don't
do
want
we
to
got
talk
next?
I don't want to talk about this next one because
Oh, come on, we're talking about it right now. What is it?
Stars, the poem.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it because I want to sound
okay. It's probably gonna be a shitty poem, but let's see if I can try it. Let's see. Let's see if I can try to come up with like, oh, here's a poem called Stars. It's a poem. The end.
Yeah, that's the safest way I would put it. So I can
So
sound
yeah,
more
I mean, honestly, yeah. Honestly, this definitely really feels like the most laziest poem the team has ever written for this album and such.
that one
I
would
like,
be
I like I said, I can just imagine one of them just being like, God, I gotta write another poem.
that would
Right, well, I'll write
actually
about stars.
Philip was the one that wrote it. That's why I want to sound respectful. That's why.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, actually, Phil, this is a very good poem. It's a very good poem. All right. No problems whatsoever. You know what? I changed my mind. It's a 10. I mean, okay. Honestly, I mean, I gotta be honest, such and everything. Like, it's not bad and such. Like, but like I said, it's honestly, it does feel like one of those where it's kind of like slapped in at the last minute and everything, and pretty much it's just there. Is what it is. So.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would call it a
I'm
filler.
sorry, Philip, and everything. I do like your Archie's theme, but for this one, I gotta give it a 1.
Oh man.
I
Oh.
gotta like. I mean, like I said, it's just definitely like. I mean, again, it does feel lazy and such. Like, I mean, okay, maybe. I mean, okay, like out of sheer respect and everything, I'm pretty sure that like maybe this was just something that like either he had to do or like he didn't have enough time to do it, and he was just like, this is the best I could come up with. Here you go.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be a little bit more generous and give it a 2. I'm gonna be a little bit more generous. Sorry about
So,
this, Philip.
so we'll give him 1 point higher.
Sorry about this, Philip. It's just that it's just stars. I know it's short. It's short. I think it's only like 5 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But compared to the rest of the album, it does stick like a sore thumb compared to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
So sorry, Philip. I love Archie's theme, and I also love another lullaby you did that's coming up in a few songs. But yeah, sorry, Philip. I'm very sorry. Oh my god. But
I mean, to be fair, like I'm pretty sure that Philip, I'm pretty sure Philip knows that, like, at the very least, wants us to be as honest as we can and such. So
yeah, and besides, it's all for fun. Nothing is fact at the end of the day.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but the next track makes up for it. Star Lullaby is up next.
Actually, yeah, Star Lullaby and everything. Actually, I'll be honest. The first time I heard this and everything, like, I mean, pretty much it's fine and such. But to me, like, it didn't really sound too much like a lullaby to me. At least in terms of the instruments, from what I remember off the top of my head and everything. Like, I mean, like at one hand and everything, like, listening to it now and definitely after the third time and everything, like, I definitely softened up my thoughts on it a little bit more and such. And I could see this pass as a lullaby and everything. Like, honestly, the theme to me kind of reminds me of like those like a baby Einstein VHSs I used to watch a lot as a little kid and everything, and pretty much like the instrument version of this lullaby definitely gave me that vibe and everything as well too, and basically on its own it's fine and such. I wouldn't say it's my most favorite lullaby out of the ones that we have in this album, but it's still passable. Like I definitely don't hate it for sure.
I don't hate it either. I think it's good. I think it's good. I will say that it's good. It's my third
Mhm.
favorite out of the four
Mhm.
lullabies. I think the instrumentation is really well done. I will say that. I will say that.
Yeah, agreed.
So, what rating would you get Star Lullaby?
For me, I would give it a 7, honestly.
7. Okay. Let's see what I will also give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Now we move on to one of my favorite songs from the album, Aki Taki Yanga.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, again, this is definitely another one that is very catchy. So catchy that honestly, I will not blame anyone for like uh, just pretty much nodding along to the song and just pretty much singing along with their head every single time. Like they want to think about the Wiggles and such.
And spoiler alert, this is another song I overplayed the most.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like I said, instrument wise, like very catchy, and pretty much the melody and the vocal chords again add to the catchiness and the earworm that this song is basically this basically is known for and such.
Pretty much, and I think this is one song they play live in their early concerts, and I would love for them to play this one live at one of the OG Wiggles concert reunions.
Hmm.
This one, Anthony, please, if you're listening, add this song to the OG Wiggles reunions, because I will freak out if you guys play this song live for the first time in I think almost 30 years now.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, pretty much. I will freak out if they play that song live in the OG Wiggles concerts.
Hmm.
But yeah, the song is catchy. The instrumentation is good, and Greg's voice again really well done. And my favorite part is the chorus actually, where they all sing together.
Yep.
So for me, Akitaki Yanga gets an 8 out of 10. Great song.
For me, honestly, same here. Same here. I'm also giving it an 8 out of 10 and everything. Again, catchy song and such, and pretty much not only that, but we get another sort of like talkie song, except this one is called what? How do you
You
pronounce this
want
again?
you want me to pronounce it? You want
Yeah,
me
go ahead.
It's Oepo Tuki Tuki.
Yeah. Oepo Toki and such, and once again, honestly, I think that honestly, in terms of like catchiness and everything, I think I definitely do prefer this a little bit more than Akitagi Yonka and such and everything.
To
In,
me,
in terms of like again vocal chords and everything, and instrument wise and such, like honestly, it definitely steps up as a lot more better than Akitagi Yonka and such.
to me,
So
I,
much
I
so that I'm
always
giving it a 9 and such.
to me, I always go back and forth between Akitaki Yanga and Oepo Tuki Tuki in terms of which song is better in terms of
Hmm.
music wise and in catchiness. And
Yeah.
and sometimes I say Akitaki Yanga is better. Sometimes I say Oepo Tuki Tuki is better, and it depends on my mood. So today
Hmm.
though, wow, this is gonna be tough. Hmm.
Go ahead.
Um,
I think long and hard. Like I said, be honest with yourself.
Today I'm feeling like giving Oepo Tuki Tuki the edge, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, I'm not a big fan of the way they re-recorded it in '97. I prefer this version. I think this version is the best version they've ever done.
Interesting.
All right, so up next we got Vini Vini. Now this song has a very complicated history with the Wiggles.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Tell that complicated history.
All right, so when they first recorded it in '91, they thought it was in public domain, and with a title like that, you would assume, oh, okay, maybe it's in public domain. And well, they recorded it and they credited it as a traditional song, basically a song that was in public domain. However,
But
in '98, when they re-released the Wiggle Dance VHS, Wiggle Dance being their very first live VHS, live concert VHS,
mhm.
a French composer came up and said, I'm the one. I'm one of the ones that wrote it." And the Wiggles freaked out, and they immediately removed it from the video. And they also re-released the debut album with Vini Vini removed.
Yeah, that's true. Was this something that like they just did? Was this something that the Wiggles just did for safety, or like did the composer basically tell them they had to get rid of it?
No, they do it for safety, basically.
Okay.
This happens a lot in the American versions of their albums. For example, I'll give you an example.
Alrighty.
In the Big Red Car album, which is the one we're gonna talk about in a couple albums from now. I think it's their
Mm-hmm.
fifth album.
Yeah.
That one has two songs that were cut for the American version. Those two songs being "On Your Holiday" and "Teddy Bear Hug." I think the reason they cut them is because of royalties, and because remember, Music publishers get paid for the songs on the album,
Yeah.
and it depends on the country. So basically, the U.S. differs completely from Australia.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer right there. Yeah.
So for safety, it's best to remove them, so they don't have to get into a lawsuit with the original music publishers.
Alrighty then.
So, but yeah, honestly, Vinny Vinny, it's okay. It's okay. It's a very short song, but it's pretty catchy as well. I will admit.
Alrighty.
So for me, Vinny Vinny gets a 7. What do you think of Vinny Vinny, by the way?
Vinny. Honestly, this one's also very catchy as well too. I definitely like how the tempo and everything goes faster and faster and everything as the song goes on and everything. And pretty much as it is, again, it's very passable and such. Definitely wouldn't mind listening to it once in a while and everything. But I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites to be honest. But to be fair, but definitely to be fair, I'm definitely gonna give it a 7, honestly, for what it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Look what we got next.
Spot the Dalmatian.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, a little behind the scenes story. I teased this guy because he didn't like the song at first, but go ahead, man. Sorry about that.
Nah, it's all right. But yeah, honestly, okay. So pretty much when I was listening to the song the first time, I guess it was just one of those where it's just like it sounded a little bit way different. I guess maybe not too different and everything, but different enough. But definitely different enough from like what we have from like the first album so far that it just caught me off guard a little bit, and basically I didn't know how to feel about the song. But honestly, the more I listened to it, and actually yesterday I was actually listening to the album yesterday as well too, just to get ready for the podcast today and such. Listening to it and everything, I definitely have grown to like it just a little bit more and such. And basically, now that I got a little bit more of a context on basically the song itself and the story that it's trying to tell and everything, I don't think it's as bad as I was making it out to be honest and such. Instrument wise, it's all right and such, and lyrical what. Lyrical and songwriting wise and everything, pretty much just a fine story with fine characters and such. Definitely, giving it to them, different character traits as well too as the song goes along. And again, I don't think it overstayed its welcome too much and such, at least to where I felt it was too noticeable and such. So basically, for me and everything, while I wouldn't say it's my most favorite song and everything, I have definitely grown to like it a little bit more and such.
How much would you rate it?
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna be generous, and honestly, I'll give it a 7. Honestly.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm vice versa with you. I'm vice versa.
Go right. Go right ahead. Give your thoughts on this song.
I love this song. I gotta be honest. I love this song. It's this was again another one of the songs I overplayed when I was younger. And I think this was the one I overplayed the most. Besides, I Get Ready to Wiggle.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the what happens to the characters. It's a little bit silly and a little bit funny as well. And the song makes you feel sympathetic for them for losing their spots, their stripes, and the dog Bill. But and I think these I know you don't care much for the vocal delivery and the instrumentation, but to me, I think they add to the song, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see why you like it and such.
And for me, Spot the Dalmatian gets an 8 out of 10. And this is a song. If they play this song in the reunion shows, I'm gonna freak out completely. Because I would love to see them play this song live. I think they did play it in the new generation played it not too long ago, but I would love to see them play it live again. Honestly.
Alrighty.
All right. So up next we got Johnny Works with One Hammer.
Johnny Works with One Hammer. Again, this is another fun one right here and such. Definitely basically definitely again I really don't have too much to say on the song to be honest and such. But basically for what I do say and everything, it's catchy and everything. And again, it's another song that actually has a real good twist ending and everything. We're pretty much Johnny gets so fed up that pretty much just getting overwork and everything. And he's like, you know what, I'm going on strike.
Yeah, I will admit that ending's pretty funny. They actually re-record this song later on, and they rename it to instead of a male protagonist, it becomes a female protagonist.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll get to that song eventually. I think that song is on Big Red Car actually.
Alrighty.
So yeah, Johnny works with one hammer. The original version, which is a male protagonist for me. This one's pretty funny, I will admit. And to me, it gets an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty catchy song, and the ending is very funny. Like I said,
I'm gonna give it a 7 and such. But yeah, I definitely do agree with you. Catchy song and a good ending and such.
I agree. Yep. So up next, we got our next poem, "Man on the Moon."
Oh yeah, that's right. Man on the Moon is another one that honestly, honestly, is creative enough and such. It's definitely creative enough, and I definitely the little a little joke in the end and everything. Like it's fine and such. It's cute. Don't have too much to say, so I'll pretty much just give it a 6.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna give it a 7, just to be a little bit more generous, because I love that ending where the keyboard does. And guess who wrote this poem, by the way?
Phil.
Yep.
Honestly, for this one, Phil actually did a really good job and such.
Yeah, this one was a huge step up from Stars, in my opinion. Again,
Uh,
Phil, sorry about Stars. It's just that, but we gotta be honest with ourselves.
like I said, to be fair, like I think he would rather for us to be honest, either way and such.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, can I take the next one, which is "This Old Man"?
Sure, go right, go right
So
ahead.
before we get started, I just want to point out something. So does this song sound familiar to you? "This Old Man"?
It does sound familiar to me, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
This old man, he played knick-knack on my drum.
I love you, you love me. We're a happy family.
Yep, believe it or not, this is the song that inspired the "I Love You" song from Barney.
Yep, yeah. Prepare to have your minds blown, folks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people know about this, but for the ones that don't, yeah, this old man was the song that inspired "I Love You" from Barney. And once you notice it, you can't unnotice it.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. As soon as Toy Bonnie basically told me about it as well too. Basically, I was just like, yeah. I can't unhear it now.
Yeah, but unlike "I Love You," where it's a very short song, the original song "This Old Man," it's really good. Like I like it's a song you can sing to your kids, and you can do it faster and faster as it goes along. And the Wiggles do an amazing job in doing this song.
Honestly, I wholeheartedly agree with you right there. And yeah, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I also like the song. I like the little spin on like pretty much having the tempo and everything, and the pretty much going faster as you go, pretty much as you go up higher and higher with the numbers and such.
Pretty much, and I think all of them share vocals along with Dorothy. Yep, Dorothy
Yeah,
sings it.
yeah, pretty much. I think Dorothy was the one that did number 6, I believe.
Yeah, she was the one that did number 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that it goes faster and faster and faster until they get to the very end. And my favorite part is the ending where they go and then. but yeah, this old man. I will give them a lot. I will give them props for doing an amazing cover of it. And you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10.
Alrighty. Honestly, for me, for basically the Wiggles coverage of the song and everything, they actually did a really good job. And basically, again, made the song as fun as it can be and such. And yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna unhear this song now, and I'll think of the "I Love You" song as well too. Whenever I do decide to come back to it, but for what it is, yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it an 8 at the very least. Honestly, it's definitely a real good song. One of their best ones, honestly.
I agree with you there. All right, so you want to take the next one? Guess what song is up next?
Let's see. Sano Guan.
Seal Gone. Yeah, that one.
Seal Gone. Yeah. Seal Gone. Honestly, Seal
now you
Gone.
get to now you get to laugh at my misery.
Yeah. So pretty much, the exact opposite of one. So when Bonnie told me about Seal Gone and everything, pretty much she let me know that like this is one of the songs where it's like basically for what he heard and everything. For what Bonnie has heard, this is one of the unpopular songs from like the Wiggles fans and everything
No,
too.
no,
And,
it wasn't this one. It's another. It's the very last song we're going to talk about. So
Oh, okay. We're pretty much like when we were getting ready to do this, I was preparing myself just in case of somehow I also don't end up liking it. But honestly, pretty much once it started playing everything, and once who was the one doing the humming?
Greg again.
Greg. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much when Greg was started doing the humming, no joke, he actually got me to hum along with him and everything as well too. And pretty much if you have any song or anything that can make me want to hum along or at least grab my attention right off the bat, you did something right really well. And pretty much that's what Seogon did and such. Pretty much right off the bat, like it grabbed my attention throughout the whole thing that I just wanted to keep listening and everything. And pretty much right at the end, I was just so satisfied. I was like, you know what? I actually really did like this lullaby, and I still do. I still really do like this lullaby. It just really captures like pretty much like again like Greg's vocal and everything, and the way he was humming and everything. Like again, he just really captured this one so well that I really can't think of any flaws to say, at least on my end and such. And pretty much I like it so much that I'm giving it an 8.
Wow, nice.
Go right ahead.
So when we were listening to the album, the first time I re-listened to the song, this is what I said to Segoa: boring. I actually did not like it at all, and the second time I also didn't like it. But after the third time, I finally warmed up to it, and after listening to the album about 2 more times before we started recording this podcast episode, I finally warmed up to it. It's still not it's still my least favorite lullaby from the 4 lullabies, but I still like it. It's really good, and I think the highlight for me is it's Greg humming and doing the vocals. And well, I don't have too much to say because you pretty much said everything I was gonna say. It's still my least favorite from the original 4 lullaby, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
Alrighty, well, it's not too bad, honestly.
And I need to be in the correct mood to listen to this song.
I understand.
So up next we got our second to last poem, Wind.
This one is another. Okay, honestly, like this one at least get points for creativity, especially like with the wind sound effects. But honestly, again, this is one of those where it's like where it kind of feels like it's just there, and pretty much it's just there, and it's not, and it's really one of those where it's just kind of like doesn't really stand out to me that much and such. But definitely a lot better than Stars. I will say that much. So at least pretty much in terms of the wind sound effects alone, I'm giving it a 4.
All right, I'm actually gonna check who wrote. Who was the one that wrote "Wind"? Let me take a look. But while my tablet loads, all I'm gonna say about "Wind" is that it's very creative. It's a very creative poem, and unlike you, I'm gonna be a little bit more generous and give it. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Alrighty, so 2 points higher.
Yeah, because I think the way they did the sound effects was really good. That's why. If this wants to load though. Oh, okay. While it loads, let's go to the next lullaby, and the final lullaby for this album, Joseph John's Lullaby. Now, let me take the song. Let me take this.
Go ahead. You go first. Go ahead.
All right. So this is a song that I think. So this is a song that was written for Anthony's nephew, Joseph Field.
Alrighty.
And Philip wrote it at Anthony's request, and it's supposed to be a hybrid between the Braham's Lullaby and Sing a Song of Polly. I think that's what it's supposed to be called.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, I hear a little bit. This is just me. This might be just me. I hear I think I hear 0.1% of Deck the Halls in the lullaby.
Oh.
Yeah, this is just me. Again, I don't know about you. But I hear a little bit of Deck the Halls in the lullaby.
I'll basically have to take a little bit more of a listen to it, and basically, if I do listen to it again, I'll basically let you know if I also hear the same thing as well.
All right, so I took a look at Wind, and it looks like it was written by it's credited to all 4, but I believe it was written by Anthony.
Okay.
But anyway, Joseph John's Lullaby, I'll be honest, an amazing little hybrid lullaby. I love this instrumental, honestly. I think this is one of the instrumentals I play the most. It's my second favorite out of the lullabies. And Joseph John's Lullaby is an 8 out of 10. Really?
Oh, interesting, because pretty much I also gave it an 8 as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be honest, like it's a really good instrumental, and you don't notice that it's a hybrid of 2 different lullabies. It feels like just one lullaby, to be honest. Those
honestly it does, and pretty much like as far as lullaby goes and everything, like pretty much it's another good one and such. Like pretty much I don't have too much to complain with this one. So yeah, I agree with you. It definitely gives an 8 and such.
Yeah, pretty much. Now you want to take the final track we're gonna review, Desert Dreaming. Now this is the one that wasn't very popular, like you mentioned. Go ahead.
Okay. Desert Dreaming.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so Desert Dreaming. Okay, I can understand why this one is not as popular and everything with some people and such, but pretty much for me and everything, it's a very, at the very least, is interesting. I will say that's pretty much when I first heard about it. Again, it's another one that has a very different vibe. Definitely a different vibe than pretty much what we've been listening to so far with this album and such. And but honestly, like it's a different vibe that pretty much piques my interest and such. And again, like if you could pique my interest and such, and still have it being piqued and everything, then pretty much you've done something right. And pretty much I think what I like the most about this, at least poem or song, wherever you guys
It's a
want to
poem.
call
It's,
it.
it's basically a poem. I will call it.
Yeah,
A poem.
basically a poem. Basically, for all his poems go, this is honestly the very most creative poem, like out of the whole poems that we have seen up into this point and such. Again, like just a way to pretty much they're describing to you like what this character is seeing as well throughout like Australia and everything, or pretty much wherever he is and such. Like he does a real good, pretty much it does a real good job on capturing in this little world as well too, and pretty much making you almost kind of see the same thing this guy's seeing as well too in the poem and everything, and yeah, just the way the instruments add this like both eerie and mysterious feeling and everything. Again, like it sets the mood down very good. Like I really don't have anything else too much to say, or at least too much to complain and such. Is it weird? Sure. Like pretty much, I will say that like this is probably the kind of song you would get if like the Wiggles ever did drugs or something.
I was gonna say that.
Pretty much if they ever did drugs and everything, or pretty much if they smoked marijuana and everything, there's probably what they were division and everything. That's probably why this poem came to be about and such.
It's okay. I was gonna say, it feels like something you will feel in an LSD trip. I'll be honest.
Pretty much, yeah, and again, I think that's another reason why it adds to the charm to it as well too, because again, it's just so different and everything, and it's so creative as well too. That honestly, like I'm giving it an 8. It definitely deserves an 8 and everything for like being one of the most creative poems out there.
Yeah. So this one was written by Anthony and Philip actually. So and
Okay.
I'll be honest. I love this poem.
Yeah, same here.
I love this poem. Like, I think the thing I love the most about it is that little sound effect, like Joel. That sound effect that goes on throughout the poem.
Yeah.
I think it's really well done, and just the poem alone is really well written, and it makes you feel like you're on an LSD trip, to be honest. But yeah, I'll be honest. Like you said, it's a really good poem, and I'm gonna give it one more rating higher than you because I think with the creativity, the way Greg speaks it. Yeah, Greg is the one that speaks it, by the way. And
Alright.
and just that sound effect alone, and the fact that it makes you feel like you're on a LSD trip. I'm gonna give it a 9, to be honest.
All right, nice.
And with that, we finished the album. Now there's one more song, which is a reprise of "Get Ready to Wiggle." It's the same song, so 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So yeah, same here. Still 9 out of 10 for me on that one.
Yeah. And with that, we're done with the first Wiggles album. Man, I'll be honest. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. To me, I think this is in my opinion, so far, this is one of 2 perfect albums the Wiggles have recorded.
I definitely do see. I definitely do see and understand why you definitely have that opinion and such. Because, yeah, like I said, going in and everything, I have no idea what I was going to expect out of the Wiggles and such. And pretty much coming out of this first album alone, I could definitely say for sure that I definitely do see on how they became popular so quickly and such. And pretty much just listening to this first album alone, I definitely am looking. I'm definitely looking forward to listening to pretty much the rest of the albums as well too, and see what have they approved and everything, and if they're and pretty much if they're just as good as this album right here and such.
Yeah, same here. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing on. So did you have fun reviewing this album?
I did actually. I definitely did have a lot of fun talking about the songs and such. I had a lot of fun talking about the album itself overall and everything. And pretty much this is another project that I'm definitely looking forward to continuing.
Me too, honestly. Me too. All right, so with that, now let's go on to our top 10 songs. So, Sex, since you're new to the Wiggles, go ahead, take it away.
All right, so pretty much my top 10 songs is go as following. Number 10 is Uki Tuki Anka. Number 9 is the Marina Lullaby. Number 8 is Oh Eppo Tuki Tuki. Number 7, Desert Dreaming. Number 6, This Old Man. And now for the top 5. Number 5 is See You Gone. Number 4, Lavender Blues. Number 3, Dorothy the Dinosaur. Number 2, A Froggy He Woulda Woo and Go. And number 1, Get Ready to Wiggle.
All right, nice. All right, so here's my top 10. My number 10 is Joseph John's Lullaby.
Alrighty.
Number 9 is Johnny Works with One Hammer. Number 8 is This Old Man. Number 7, Spot the Dalmatian.
Alrighty.
Number 6, Akitaki Anga. Number
Okay.
5, Maranoa's Lullaby.
Ready?
Number 4, Oepo Tuki Tuki.
Okay.
Number 3, Dorothy the Dinosaur.
Alright.
Number 2, Lavender Blues. And number 1, to
Number
no
1,
one's,
Get Ready to Wiggle.
pretty much to no one's shock.
So pretty much the only thing that's the same and definitely in the same place as us is number 1 and our number 3 spot.
Pretty much. And I think Maranoa Lullaby as well. Or no?
Well, actually, Maranoa Lullaby. Actually, I think for me, I placed that number 9 for that one.
All right, so now it's time to add up our scores. So, you mind taking out your calculator, please?
Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that real quick. Alrighty. Where am I dividing this? Like by 24 or something, or?
Yeah, let's do 24 because we're not counting the reprices.
Okay.
So, you want me to go? You want me to tell you my scores first, or you want to go first?
Actually, you can go ahead and go first while I'm adding this up.
All right, so I'll just add on my. Oh, you want me to tell you my scores so you can add them up?
Actually, yeah, go ahead and do that.
All right. So up. So the first one is 10.
Okay, 10,
7,
7,
8,
8,
7,
7,
10,
10,
6,
6,
8,
8,
7,
7,
8,
8,
10,
10,
10.
10,
Which one's this one? Hold on. 2,
2,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
7,
7,
8,
8,
8.
8,
This one 7,
7,
9,
9,
7,
7,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9.
9. That's all of them?
Yeah, that's all of them.
Okay. Alright, so basically, alright, so 180, okay, so 187, so, alright, so 187 to,
Divided by 24.
yeah. Actually, let's do it like, divided by, yeah, let's do it by, it's supposed to be, 240, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so divided by that, and basically your final score for an album would be pretty much 78%. So pretty much like a 8 out of 10, honestly, for overall. So it'd be like a B.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I was expecting it an A, but B's still pretty good.
Yeah, B's still pretty good. Honestly, like I think the B grade is actually very deserving for this album and everything. And yeah, at least in terms of me, like if I was to just go by like basically what I would have given a grade off a bat and everything with this one, then yeah, definitely a solid B. Definitely sounds right because again, especially like for the first album and everything, like pretty much for the first album and everything, like it does a very good job on like introducing the Wiggles to the fans and such.
Pretty much, yeah. I think this was supposed to be a temporary project, actually.
Yes, that's correct.
And if this was gonna be their only album, I'll be honest, this would have been a great album. If this was gonna be one album, this would satisfy me very much.
Pretty much, same here. All right, so I'm basically adding up my scores right now.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so let's see here. So for me, All right, so for me, my final score for this would be a 73%. So basically, a comfortable 7 out of 10 and everything, which would be actually it will still be a B at the end of the day. So pretty much, yeah, and honestly, yeah, and honestly, yeah, it's kind of funny because that's definitely the first rating I gave. Basically, when we basically the first impressions when we listened to the album the first time, and honestly, yeah, I'm still comfortable with giving this a 7 out of 10. Honestly, and pretty much, yeah, I already repeated, why I would give it a 7 or a B and such. So pretty much no need to repeat myself. Except that, yeah, like I said, for the very first album, and yeah, as Barney also mentioned as well too, if this was to be like one of the only albums the Wiggles would have ever done and everything, I definitely would say that like for a side project and everything that they did a real good job at the end of the day and such with this.
Pretty much, and honestly, I would definitely love to pick a copy of this album, but the problem is that it's very expensive. Like importing stuff from Australia is very expensive.
Yeah, yeah. I think as Barney mentions, I think this and the next album were the only two albums that would like did not get any like international release in the U.S. as of yet.
And the EP, the EP we're gonna talk about after the second album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first three albums are out of print as well because they actually, well, I should wait until we get to the later albums, but long story short, they basically re-recorded them.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, sadly, and that basically means the original albums are out of print and hard to find. So basically,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would love to own a copy of this album because I would play this in my car over and over again, to be honest.
I mean, like I said, I don't blame you and such.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, folks, that was the very first episode of It's a Wiggly Wiggly Podcast. I'll be honest, I did have a lot of fun recording the very first episode of this podcast. I actually was a little nervous at first, as usual, but as we moved along, I actually started enjoying myself.
And yeah. To be honest and everything, honestly, I've also enjoyed myself as well too. Again, to see the Wiggles and everything, and also pretty much just pretty much learning and everything. Like what made the Wiggles so popular to begin with, and pretty much I can definitely say with confidence and such that listening to the very first album and such, I definitely do understand how the Wiggles became popular to begin with and such. And pretty much like I also said, I am definitely also looking forward to pretty much listening to more of their albums and everything, and pretty much just keep on seeing how that popularity grew over time.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So anyway, folks, thank you all so much for watching and listening. If you're listening to us on Spotify, if we ever decide to put this on Spotify or something like that, thank you so much for listening or watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys liked it, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you guys want to see more episodes of It's a Wiggly Wiggly Podcast, hit the subscribe button as well. Also, don't forget to check out our separate channels, AltBot7 for me and Sequoia Diesel for Sequoia. Both channels will be in the description below. And we'll see you folks next time when we review Here Comes the Song, the Wiggles' second album.
Yes. Also, we should mention these are not going to be uploaded weekly and such. These are going to be more sporadic and such.
So pretty much. I was going to mention that. So unlike the Releasable Podcast, this is going to be a sporadic podcast where basically we're going to take a break and then come back so we can have more time to listen to the albums without getting burnt out.
Yeah, pretty much. So pretty much whenever they come out, they'll come out and such, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated on when the next Wiggle podcast will be out real soon.
Pretty much. So anyway, guys, this has been Bonnie with
Sequoia the Diesel.
Saying thank you for watching, and we'll be seeing you folks in the next episode of It's a Wiggly Wiggly Podcast. Take care, folks, and keep wiggling.
Yes, keep wiggling, but again, don't wiggle that. Bye.
Bye.